3 months on a dating app as an average guy. This is intriguing. Let's have a look.
You know, after 3 to 4 months of being on dating apps, I kind of understand why most guys are giving up on dating nowadays. Because I don't see how as an average guy you're supposed to compete with the amount of attention and validation from social media and dating apps that most girls get. It's very
100%. So I feel one of the biggest problems with dating apps is that it's an attention loop for girls. So let's just use an example. Yeah, we have this Nescafe iced coffee. If 100 people want this iced coffee, the price is going to go up, and there's going to be a lot of attention on it, right? We put that back here. Now everybody wants it. However, if there's 100 iced coffees and 100 people, there's no stress to get that iced coffee. So there's not as much in terms of going at it. There's a lot of men wanting every girl, but not every girl wants every man. So they get a lot of attention.
very easy to have the grass is greener mentality because of social media and dating apps. And the worst part about this is you can actually see when the grass is greener. It's not just a maybe. You can quite literally see everything there is out there.
Yep.
Like, oh, look, this guy's taller. This guy has a nicer...
Well, that is a bit of a comparison thing rather than anything else. So there's a saying that the comparison is the thief of joy. You can absolutely have a wife and have a lovely life. If you compare yourself to other people, it's different. Grass is greener, that depends on what they want. A woman might not want a 10-inch schlong. They might want a 5-inch. So a lot of the times you compare yourself to other people where the comparison isn't really valid.
Car. This guy's more famous, this guy's more status, this guy has a better physique. Oh, look at this couple. They're going on all these vacations and trips and they look so cute together. I want that. Now don't take this as an incel trying to pander to an echo chamber. I got on dating apps for the very first time last year for about 3 to 4 months. I was actively on it, just to see what the modern dating scene was like. And I actually did have a decent amount of success, but for one reason only. I was forced to be someone that I wasn't. I was forced to essentially play
100%. Sadly, when people ask me how would you get laid, and I'm asking them, do you care or do you not care about the person? They would say, I do not care about the person. Sadly, the only thing to do there is to lie. Sorry, girls, you girls just want to hear shit that is correct. You don't want to hear things that are true. Very often, at least. And yeah, there'll be some of you girls in the comment section saying, yeah, I want to hear what's true. That's fair. There are absolutely girls like you out there. However, most girls don't care. All they want to hear is that they're pretty, that, oh, I'll take care of you, oh yeah, oh, you're so fine, I'll make you mine, a baby girl, all that shit. And it's very easy to get burnt out on having to play the role of somebody else. I completely agree.
The game as if I was an attractive girl that had hundreds if not thousands of likes and messages. A fuckboy, essentially. You see, one thing we can all agree on is the universal laws of push and pull when it comes to attraction. The more you care, the more you try, the less favorable it'll be to you in modern dating.
Yeah,
because the amount of attention girls get in comparison to guys, it's not even within the same stratosphere. There is literally no advantage to being an honorable, loyal, nice guy that talks to one girl at a time and tries to take his time.
Actually, you tend to get penalized for talking to one girl at a time. I used to be very, very honorable and like type of dude back in the day. My mom was the one that predominantly raised me, so I used to delete everything from every other girl I'd ever dated. Everything. And I'd kind of like start fresh with every new date I had even. And at one point I just thought, it's like, oh, they just look at you and go, oh, you don't even have any game. I'm like, oh.
I'm getting to know her. It's a numbers game for us. And there's absolutely no advantage to taking that approach because they can sense when you're trying too hard. They can sense when you're too desperate and you don't have options. They can smell it off you and it's not attractive to them. They can pick up on it. And also, I don't know if this is just my experience, but a lot of girls on dating apps got the attention span of worse than a...
Yes. A lot of girls there, they got the attention, but they get like 4 messages and then they're done because they got other men messaging and other men probably messaging more interesting things or saying, oh, I'll take you to Ibiza or I'll take you to Rome or I'll take you to Milan or whatever. And the thing is, all those dudes want the same thing as well. All the men that actually want to be in a relationship aren't the ones that often, some of them are, but most of them aren't the ones that can afford those type of trips.
A goldfish, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that's kind of what happens when you lay in bed scrolling TikTok and Instagram all day. Your brain kind of just rots. Combine that with how many options and attention they get, the longer you take, the faster the interaction fades. That's why I always shoot for the number and a date after a few messages. Like, I'm not gonna waste my time entertaining you. And it's just a matter of time before a better option shows up in their inbox.
100%. 100%. That's another thing. A lot of men are very afraid on dating apps because they're afraid that the woman will be taken by another man. And that is a genuine fear. Because in nature, at least you'd be able to do some bravado, you'd be able to show some strength, whatever. On dating apps, they just disappear.
Actually, one of my close friends made a fake account because we wanted to see how many likes girls actually get in comparison to guys, and also to see the level of competition that we were up against. I live in a pretty notable city, so there's a lot of people on dating apps here. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Coffee, Bagel, Something About a Fish, you know, all the apps.
Plenty
and
of
we
fish
wanted to see how many likes girls get exactly, and what other guys were saying so we could stand out and use it against them. Chestnut checkers. Now, I'm not gonna lie, he used a relatively attractive profile of an Asian girl. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, probably somewhere around a 7.75 to 8 range. As guys, what's attractive to us is pretty objective and universal. And not even 24 hours, I'm not kidding. He got 400 likes from top tier guys. Pause. Like, we're talking 6 foot plus, Giga Chad, white dudes, tech bros, finance, all that. Bro, I was blown away. Now, maybe the data was skewed because we used the more attractive girl, but it still gives you a general idea of the vast difference.
The data isn't really skewed much because most men match with most girls. And I'm saying most because let's say you have about a 50% match ratio, while a girl might have a 2% match ratio. Those are arbitrary numbers, but you get the point.
Because I don't even think the top guys are getting even a fraction of those likes. As a matter of fact, most guys don't even get 1 to 2 likes per week because
100%.
1, girls don't send out likes when they have a plethora of options.
Nope.
And 2, girls just don't chase guys. It's not how the male and female dynamic is wired.
Well, that's not necessarily true. The male and female dynamic has, for many years, been drop a hint or drop a glove or something. But they don't do that anymore either because they have dating apps like this.
The guy's the one that asks the girl out. The guy's the one that gets on one knee. It's just how it is, no matter how much they try to change that. Gender roles is always in us, no matter how much they try to deny it and try to say it's society.
That's predominantly in America as well. There's plenty of places where it's not as serious, those traditional gender roles per se. However, I do agree that men would chase 80 to 90% of the time, if not. But at least it is after a woman has dropped the hint saying, oopsie, my glove's dropped. Would you mind taking it up? And then you can strike up a conversation. So they also have to show that they're interested because there's no point in chasing after a girl that's not interested in you. That's so fucking annoying and tedious and just waste of energy.
When it's just biology. And also 3, because girls have so many more options than guys do, they have an inflated sense of ego as 100%. It pertains to their value in the dating market. Hold on, let me show you. Let's look at these. Dating me is like breathing for the first time. You should not go out with me if you can't handle perfection.
100%. Oh my god, I've got some fucking bad ones for you.
Dating me is like worshipping a goddess. I'm convinced that I'm probably just perfect and it's everyone else around me that has issues. And trust me, these things aren't uncommon.
They really are not.
And if you were a guy with these prompts, you would get laughed at. And the reason why they feel this way is because of the overwhelming amount of attention that they get. I remember one that said, being around my energy is a privilege. And I thought to myself, yo, if I was even getting half the attention or validation I'm getting like these girls are, I'd be a piece of shit as well, and I would ghost girls left and right as soon as something better comes along. Or if she said something that was slightly annoying. That's why I don't blame them. If I was getting likes and messages of girls telling me how good I look, how amazing I am, simping for me all the time, I'd probably say some dumb shit like, you shouldn't date me if you can't handle perfection as well. And that's why this isn't a gendered issue, because if guys would stop giving these girls unreciprocated attention and stop simping for these girls, this wouldn't be as big of an issue as it is now. It's kind of like this. If you were shopping for blueberry jam, right? And one store had 2 different brands and the other store had 200 different brands, you would be able to choose in less than a minute in the first store, and you would be at the second store for significantly longer, and then you'd start to care about every little difference.
Yep, pretty much the same as the example I made in the beginning. It is 100% true, honestly. And it does make it makes a massive amount of difference if you just have a lot of options. But do I think everybody that has a lot of options become an asshole? No, I absolutely don't. I think the people that haven't necessarily had a lot of options and then suddenly get a lot of options often become slightly assholey. Or people that already haven't developed their personality properly yet, very often can become assholey. But I know a lot of girls, beautiful girls, models, actresses that have been most of their lives getting a lot of attention and just not an asshole. But I digress.
Of the blueberry jam and look at all the ingredients, and the smallest reason or ingredient can disqualify you in the eyes of a woman in modern dating. Let's take height for example, right? If you're a short guy, something you literally have no control of, that puts you at a significant disadvantage.
100%.
Every girl I've been on a date with always brings up height and the guy having to be at least 3 to 4 inches taller than them. Like, they always say this. And the funny thing about this is, if she's 5 feet, I'll ask her, okay, so is 5'4" okay? And then she'll be like, okay, maybe 5'7", 5'8". That's pretty reasonable. Actually, let me show you this one. This girl said,
white men over 6 feet, bro, please colonize me. I mean, at least that's funny.
That I go crazy for white men over 6 feet. Bro, please colonize me. Given all these factors, it got me thinking about how average guys in the dating market are even supposed to compete, like genuinely. If you're a girl that disagrees, just think about how many guys you walk by every day who you wouldn't even breathe in their direction. Like, it's not a secret why a lot of guys are just giving up on dating. Why?
100%, 100%. And Passport Bros, but the problem with Passport Bros, actually, before he says anything, Passport Bros, one of the biggest issues is that they go to a different country with the same attitude and the same ideology, expecting there to be a difference. And there will never be a difference if you go there with the same ideology and the same attitude. And you bring them home to America where they're also learning that ideology from the women here and the attitude, and then suddenly, boom, you're fucked. So unless you're going there to learn the culture and live there.
Passport Bros is becoming a thing. Why OnlyFans is a thing. Why posting naked photos on the internet is a career. Why pornography is one of the highest grossing industries.
That's not true. That is not true. Pornography, and I'm saying pornography loosely, or at least prostitution, aka the old school OnlyFans, was always a thing, even when people were more married. So, I mean, there's a lot of people cheating out there. And I do agree that there is some truth in this, where if you are, for example, dating somebody, and they break up with you, and you go, okay, I feel lonely, I'll go on OnlyFans, or I'll go on to a prostitute or something. 100% does happen. Absolutely. However, saying that that didn't happen before because OnlyFans exists now doesn't, the two are not mutually exclusive.
Why male loneliness is on the rise, why male self-deletion rates have been going sky high, why less people are getting married, why less people are getting in relationships, why the male virginity rate is up. Like, all these things coincide with one another. Like, think about this. Guys will literally travel overseas
100%.
to a completely foreign nation, different continents, with people speaking foreign languages in a completely different culture, just to find a potential wife. Like, that's how fucked it is in the West when it comes to dating. Now, you could argue that's just online dating, but like, be honest, when is the last time you've seen someone in Gen Z, maybe even millennials, meeting at a grocery store or some library, dating, falling in love, and getting married?
He's right about this. The last Gen Z I've seen meeting somebody, I think must have been either at an anime convention or at a Ren fair or something. And it's not many of them, it's very rare.
Married. Maybe you could think of one, but I'm willing to bet everything that you know a lot more people, meaning through Instagram and dating apps. Listen, I don't like it more than anyone else does. I don't even use social media. Before social media, your competition as a guy was your community. 100%. Your competition was your coworkers. Your competition was your...
And your coworkers were fucking retarded. It was always good. Like, you'd be fine. You'd always find a wife somehow. And your social circle, they'd all be as dumb or as smart or as pretty as you or often. There'd not be much difference. So, but now they have to compete against Chad from Miami with 5 million in a bank account.
Social circle. And now your competition has expanded to everyone.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the high school sweetheart story, which most people don't, if you've entered the dating market, literally everyone is your competition because everyone has a direct line to anybody. And you can see all there is out there. You can see when the grass is greener.
100%.
Combine this with all the other things I mentioned before.
I get his point with the grass is greener now. I just want to clarify that I understand what he means with the grass is greener in his perspective.
It's the reason why I was forced to play the game differently, because I am an average guy as well. In the game of blackjack, right, the dealer always has to hit until they reach 17, or if they bust. And my most success when I played blackjack was when I played the exact same way.
So he has to hit 17. Okay, cool. So I just had to think there. I actually don't know the rules of blackjack.
Of any emotion to hit until I get to 17 or higher. Just because I busted hitting on 16 the last hand, if I get 16 again, I'm gonna hit again. I'm not gonna play emotional. I'm gonna play as if I was the dealer. I applied that logic to dating apps and I did get much better results. At one point I was getting 7 to 12 matches a day, and this was...
But the problem is you become somebody you're not and you don't get matches you want. You want one wife or one girlfriend or whatever, however type of relationship you have. You have to be the person that you want the other person to find.
was when I was really active, when I was swiping on everything. It was a numbers game, mainly on Hinge. Now for me, my excuse being on dating apps was for me to sharpen my blades, to better my conversation skills. I also really wanted to see if the modern dating scene was as bad as everyone was saying. And it honestly might be worse. Most matches don't lead to anything. Again, it's why it's a numbers game. And why it's not beneficial for you to just focus all your energy and attention on one girl. I could have the most game, be funny, but if I'm not up to par as it pertains to her standards, for what she looks for in a man, it's not gonna land anything. Most people on dating apps are looking for hookups, attention, and a few
most are looking for those attention points, you know what I mean? Most of them. And don't get me wrong, I've been very lucky in the past to find ladies that did look for relationships. It's getting worse and worse by the day, including things like Bumble now having changed it so that the women don't really have to message first anymore. They just put on like a question and you have to answer it. So
minority are looking for love. And if that's you, then good luck. There was this girl I matched with. She was objectively a 9 out of 10. Slim, thick, blonde, blue eyes, all American, conservative. And I remember her prompt said, I go crazy for men in big, sexy red trucks. And I knew what would get her too. I said, what about a silver Prius with a Joe Biden sticker? And I could tell off rip she wasn't attracted to me at all. But I got her to laugh, which was what got her to match. But in online dating, unfortunately, that only gets you so far if you're not attractive to them. You just gotta keep it pushing.
In most dating, that only gets you so far. There's very little difference. Of course, if she has no other option, then she settles. And you don't want to be the person she settles for.
Like, don't beat a dead horse, because a lot of guys do this. Because like I said, a lot of girls on these dating apps are looking for attention and validation. But surprisingly enough, I did really well with Hispanics and Latinas. Like, I don't know what it is, but my match rate with them was much higher than even Asians. So shout out to Hispanics and Latinas. I got a lot of love for them. But I only started having a lot of success when I genuinely didn't care and barely invested in the conversations. Like, that energy translated really well and shifted the power dynamic. Like, I would say the most random things in
suitable prospects such as, but not limited to, vampires, werewolves, pirates, Batman. I could take all of them blindfolded with no legs and one hand behind my leg. I need to see this. And I'm agreeing. I'm not even against the guy. I think it's don't do what they want, do what they react to. I once said, somebody said she was a Marvel fan, and I said, I wonder how, if Batman and Superman could have gay sex with a kryptonite cock ring. And she was laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. In the end, we didn't suit each other. But if I wanted to lie, that was pretty easy. So just say something silly out of pocket. You'll either get or oh, that's so stupid. And if they get that's so stupid, move on.
In response to prompts, and it would work. Like, I just wouldn't care. And that translated whenever I say these random things. A lot of times it's not what you say, but it's how you say it and the message you're conveying. Because they're so used to guys saying you're beautiful, your eyes, your smile, whatever. And when you give free attention for no return, you are losing value in their eyes. And if you take all this into account, as an average guy, it's understandable why a lot of them are giving up on dating. Like, it's just not worth it. And you don't gotta take my word for it. Just look at the dating app subreddits and you'll see yourself. All these guys showing their profiles, asking what they can do better and how they don't get a single match. And a lot of these guys aren't what you'd expect. Like, they're not weirdos.
Well, a lot of those dating profiles suck. If you don't have a picture that doesn't even have a decent light like this, if you don't have a picture that is not showing you properly, if you have a picture that, I'm going to be sad, honest, if you have a fishing picture, those bitches hate that shit. Women hate fishing pictures for some reason. And I don't know why. There was a whole subreddit and a whole fucking massive ass line about how everybody hated those fishing pictures or hunting pictures. I mean, God forbid a man do something, but they don't like it, so you have to cater to what they want.
Okay, maybe some of them are, but a lot of them are like nice, genuine guys that are actually looking for something. And also, not to mention, you gotta have thick skin as well as an average guy trying to date in 2024, because sometimes you will get rejected, you will get ghosted, you will get unmatched, you will have your hopes up for a girl you've been going back and forth with, and all of a sudden she ghosts you because a better option came up. You will get flaked on, you will go days, weeks, months without any success.
You will definitely be stood up. That has happened to every single man I know. From the most beautiful to the ugliest, everyone has been stood up on a date.
And by the way, even when you finally get a girl to go on a date with you, in the back of your mind, you're always wondering if she's just getting a free dinner out of you.
Or catfishing.
This isn't a reach, by the way. I've seen it. It happens. I'm pretty sure I had this one girl trying to finesse me as well. One girl even told me to take her to Nobu. And yeah, she was like an 8 or 9. I'm not gonna lie. Like, she was out of my league in terms of value in the dating market, for sure. Like, she was bad. And I kind of just played along. I was like, I don't mind taking...
If so, I know the best food spots. Oh, that sounds nice. But if you just want to take a girl like me out just because I like sushi, cough, cough, Nobu, cough, cough. I don't mind taking you to Nobu, but don't you think we should save that for a second or third date? We're cute. Are you cute? He said, are you? She said, are you cute? That's never a good sign. Especially in America. I don't know about all the European countries, but in America.
You to Nobu, but don't you think we should save that for the second or third date? And obviously I wasn't going to take her to Nobu. Like, you're out of your mind. Again, even though she was extremely attractive, I'm not going to lie, she was bad. But it is becoming extremely difficult for average guys to date in 2024 and find love. It's kind of sad, but it's just the way it is. Now, what is the solution? What's the remedy? It's easy to point out all these problems. What can people actually do? For me, even though I had some success, none of these girls I went on dates with were actually girls I'd take serious, if I was being honest. Yeah, so the answer I ended up with was, I'm gonna stop chasing. I'm gonna be the best version of myself and elevate my life to a point where I have a pool of options. Like, I don't wanna be swimming at the bottom of dating apps, fighting for the attention of a 6.
I mean, fighting for the attention of a 6, calm down. I understand what you're saying. But if I'd found a woman that I thought was fantastic for me, I would fight for her. And I wouldn't say that you're more than a 5. So saying something, in my opinion, like fighting for a 6, it does show that you maybe have taken a little bit of that fuckboy mentality a little bit too far, maybe. But I understand what he's saying still, but...
No offense. Like, I'm not just talking about looks.
You say no offense.
It's much easier and less of a headache when you're no longer the one chasing and pursuing all the time and playing all these games. Like, every guy has been the chaser, every guy has been the pursuer. Some elevate to a point where they're the ones being pursued. But I guess it's really dependent on where you are in life, what you want, and the quality of person you want to be your partner. For example, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to marry a person who's on dating apps.
Everybody's on dating apps almost everybody. Unless you go to a third world country though.
Just gonna be honest. Like, 3 to 4 months was all I needed for me to confirm this. And maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but whatever. Like, I'm at the point now where I know what I want and I know how she looks, metaphorically. And I know what I have to do and where I have to go in life in order to be worthy of that. And generally speaking, I would say that's the best option. For most guys to just stop chasing. Because men...
Listen, I understand. I think he's made a lot of good points, but I think half of this and I'm an asshole, don't get me wrong. I can be an absolute asshole. I say a lot of weird, fucked up shit. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like he's almost decided that he needs to get to a certain point to get that certain girl. And he knows what she looks like, but he says he's been on dating apps and he says you can't find her there. So do you really know what she looks like, or do you just know what the ones you don't want look like? I'm a bit confused here.
Men and women, again, are reflections on one another in society. If guys stop simping, stop chasing, stop giving unreciprocated attention, then naturally the inflated sense of ego women get from guys doing this goes back down. When you stop chasing girls, you begin focusing on your life again. I can't tell you the amount of guys that chase girls all the time at our age, just chasing sex or hookups. And again, I'm not excluding myself from this as well. We're all in the same boat. Like, I'm guilty of this as well. And I'll never give my attention for nothing. And when guys stop giving unreciprocated attention, stop simping, stop chasing, eventually everyone starts the day within their levels again. Like, the girl you want is probably attracted to the guy that focuses on himself. Because every other guy is chasing her, giving her attention, liking her pictures, in her direct messages, telling her how beautiful she is. Just try to keep in mind, if it's not scarce, it holds no value. And if it holds no value, then there's no attraction there.
Fair enough, let's have a look at the comments. Reminds me of a quote I once saw. If you spend your time chasing butterflies, they'll fly away. But if you spend your time building a beautiful garden, the butterflies will come. And if they don't, you still have a beautiful garden. Honestly, that's a really good saying, not gonna lie. That was a nice pin, man. That's a nice pin, Derek. Bro, the first 2,000 rejections are just a warm-up. If you have 2,000 rejections, I think there's an issue with you. I get about 2 likes a week. I'm 6'1", 180 pounds, and I have a 4-year engineering degree, well-paying job. I'm regularly ghosted by broke single moms. It's crazy. If that's the case, there's something more to you. It's something more to your profile. No. Dating as an average guy online is like Batman trying to physically take down Darkseid. He managed though. Guys, remember that you're the product. Dating apps are a psychological nightmare and quite literally a gambling platforms. The house always wins. There's also a little bit of a truth in there. They are not made for you to leave the platform. They're made for you to stay on the platform. So they don't make money from you leaving. If you get what I mean, boys and girls. Stay safe out there.